Jai Shri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagadguru Sudarshan Acharyaji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to the Purva Acharyas. I pay my obeisances to the 12 Alvars. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome all of you physically here at the Sri Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. I welcome those that's watching this live discourse locally, nationally and internationally. And I welcome in advance those that's going to be watching this discourse when it is posted on YouTube and the various groups from around the world. Our topic is on creation and an understanding on how to live within this creation. And I've stated comprehensively in the past that the Lord, together with His creation, gave us a manual on how to live within this creation. Similar to manufacturers that manufacture items, every created item has a handbook. If you buy a microwave, then in that box of the microwave you will find a set of instructions and every detail and spec of the microwave in that booklet. Now if man can be so specific and so precise in individual creations, then don't you think that God, the universal creator, would be more comprehensive than man himself? Don't you think? Is it logic or not logic? So in that reasoning, the Lord has created a manual. That manual that the Lord has created is not a single religious book. It is the entire library. And that library is called Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma is associated with the word Hinduism. Sanatana Dharma means the eternal duty of man. Eternal means never ending and from beginningless time. Eternal does not have a beginning and it does not have an end. It always exists. And throughout existence, there is a set of righteous conduct for human to live in. This set of righteous conduct is expounded through various saints and sages. And it is this conduct righteous conduct that we at the Sri Narayan Dham expounds. Our very substratum is the four Vedas, the 6 Puranas in Satgun, the 108 Upanishads, the 2 Itihasas, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, the Brahma Sutras, the Bhagavad Gita, and all Vedic knowledge by saints and sages that are within the parameters of Sri Vaishnavism. Sri Vaishnavism means those that are connected to the Supreme Lord, or those that are aspirants of the Supreme Lord. The word Supreme means that there can be no one higher. So you cannot have many Supreme Lords. You can only have one Supreme Lord and many divine gods. One Lord, many gods. All of you understand? The Lord cannot be many, because the Lord is supreme. One Supreme Lord and many gods. In fact, there are 330 million gods, and these gods are subordinate to the Supreme Lord, and they perform various functions sanctioned by the Supreme Lord. And in scientific terms, they are cosmic administrators. Like how you have government administrators in a country, similarly in this universe, you need cosmic administrators. These cosmic administrators have capacity to give you sunshine, moonlight, rain, water, snow, vegetation in the proportion that they deem fit at a particular time. They serve through the powers and potencies all life form in this universe, and particularly on this planet. So we have an obligation. We have an obligation to all of these cosmic administrators, don't we? Because you have free air. Anyone paying for air? You have free sunlight. You have free oxygen. These are administered by the cosmic administrators specifically. So do we have a debt to them? Do we have a debt to them? Keshri? Yes. We have a debt to the administrators. For my purposes, I will call them Devis and Devatas. Devis and Devatas. So we owe the Devis and Devatas. Then we have a debt DEBT, to our ancestors. We have a debt to our ancestors because it is through them that we are now residing and living on this planet. Our parents, their parents, their parents, going back. So we have a debt with our ancestors. So we have a debt with the Devis and Devtas, and we have a debt to our ancestors. And then, thirdly, we have karma. We have karma from previous lifetimes that fashion and shape this lifetime. We have karmas from previous lifetimes that fashion and shape this lifetime. God gives us an opportunity. The Lord gives us an opportunity by giving us a human body, by awarding us a human body, so that we have an opportunity to exhaust the accumulated karma from beginningless time. The accumulated karma from beginningless time. This explanation is the only coherent explanation that satisfies the mind of man. This absolute information is the only information that has capacity and potency to satisfy the mind of man. No other explanation can satiate the mind of man other than this explanation that I have given you. Why? If this lifetime was a once-off lifetime, and if we say that the Lord is supreme, then everyone seated in this satsang is supposed to be equal. All supposed to have the same problems, all supposed to have the same bank balance. In every way, everyone was supposed to be the same. Are you the same? So everyone here is different. Can the Lord be supreme if there is only one lifetime and He gives human pain and suffering in different proportions? What criteria would God use to give you a destiny that is different from someone else, if this is only one lifetime? Do all of you understand? Specifically here, you understand why I am saying that this information is the only coherent information that can satiate your mind. A father, a normal father, all right, If he has 5 children and if he has 5 million rand, how will he distribute his 5 million rand to his 5 children? In an ideal situation. Vasan? Equally. In an ideal situation. No parent would want to give one less and one more and watch one suffering whilst one is enjoying. Is it not? And these are biological parents. Biological parents. You think your spiritual parent would want differences within individual children of his? You think? Krish? No. Then to understand our current predicament, we have to understand the law of karma. Because only the law of karma makes us realize why we are proportionately different and why we are suffering or why we are enjoying. Proportionately different from each other. Is that understood? That basic understanding is the cornerstone of Sanatana Dharma. Karma and reincarnation. Karma and reincarnation, both is absolute science. Karma is absolute science, reincarnation is absolute science, and who witnesses both karma and reincarnation? Man himself. Man himself. You experience it, you discuss it, and then you forget it. So when you go to a funeral, how many of you have been to a funeral? Almost every one of you. And then you realize at that funeral how short life is. How many of you at funerals came to this realization? Shocking realization that life is so short. Yesterday, that person's funeral that you attended was alive and kicking. And today is in a box. Today is in a box. And what do you say? What do you say to yourself? That I rather rectify my life. Life is very short. I will now be a good human. I will now be a righteous human, because any day is my day. Any day is my day. And if a family member has passed on, when you phone, even if it's your brother or sister, when you phone the family member to ascertain the funeral time, Jessica, would you ask what time will that person by name in the coffin appear at the hall or the house? Or will you say what time the body will appear? What sentence, what terminology would you use? And yesterday that body had a, today the body has no name. Is the Guru saying this or are you saying this? Who's saying this? The Guru saying it or are you saying it? You saying it? Did you go to any school to say this? Any school, any university, any Sunday school, any ashram? Who taught you this? Who taught you this? So you experience it. Who experienced it? Who? You. You are experiencing the death and you are experiencing reincarnation because you are not concluding the death of a person. What you are concluding? You are concluding the death of a body. Who taught you to say at a funeral, may his or her soul rest in peace? Why do you say this? Who taught you to say this? Did you go to a school and learn to say this? Are you differentiating between a soul and a body? Unconsciously? Unconsciously? Nobody taught you this. But you have this knowledge, don't you? Inherent in you, you have this knowledge. So you know by attending a funeral that only the body dies. Another entity that was in the body must attain peace. So who taught you that the soul and peace goes together? Yes? You attended many funerals in all religions. The story is the same. Sometimes enemies come and give your last speech, Vasudeva. Sometimes enemies come and give the last speech. You ever heard the enemy say, may his soul rest in misery? No matter how bad a person was to you, when that person passes on, do you wish that person misery or do you wish that person peace? Yesterday you had the greatest argument, today the person is gone. When you go to the funeral, all the time what would you be wishing on that person? Peace. So the inherent quality of a soul is peace. But because of accumulated karma, what happens to the peace? It is blocked. Accumulated karma blocks peace. So you yourself is a witness to karma and a witness to reincarnation. If you yourself, any religion in the world, any religion in the world is a witness to karma and a witness to reincarnation, and the substratum of Sanatana Dharma, the substratum of Sri Narayan Dham, our Sri Vaishnavism, is based on karma and reincarnation. What does reincarnation mean? Vasudeva?
The soul gets a new body.
Or another life. How many of you are prepared tonight to continue your miserable and happy life, depending on which dimension you are, until death? And then let the Guru reincarnate you. Only Mataji, I think she put her hand. Oh, she wiping her nose. So you think karma and reincarnation is only at death, or you think karma, Vasudeva, and reincarnation can happen whilst you are alive? Can happen whilst you are alive. Although from the absolute dimension, it happens at both places, but I don't think anyone in this room wants to come to this satsang and continue living that life that you are living, hear my discourses and wait peacefully to die. Satisfied? Vasudeva? Sugars? Okay. So when you come to a guru, put all the lights on. Did you all notice that only Sri Narayan Dham had lights? Did you all notice when you came into Reservoir that only Sri Narayan Dham had lights? Not because we have great powers, we just have solar power, which we switched back to electricity, alright? But it is the duty of a guru. GU stands for darkness, from Sanskrit to English. GU stands for darkness, RU stands for light. It is the duty of a guru to bring you from darkness into light. And this is what I'm doing in this discourse. I'm bringing you from darkness into light. Light in the sense of knowledge. When the mind is turbulent, when the mind is in an ebb and a flow, when there is a storm in the mind, when the tides of the mind, the waves is bashing the skull endlessly, the mind is in darkness. The mind is in darkness. The function, the flux of the mind is acceptance and rejection. Acceptance and rejection. Yes, I'll go to satsang, everything will work out. No, Jai Shri, it won't work out. Yes, Jai Shri, I'll go to satsang, everything will work out. No, Jayashree, I'll go to satsang, it might not work out. Jayashree, does that thought ever enter your head? Okay, Jayashree is in the ashram, she has to speak the truth. That is the mind. That is the darkness of the mind. And the job of a guru is to put a light in the darkness and inform you that it is only an illusion. It is only an illusion. What is an illusion? That transaction for tomorrow, which your mind is telling you will happen, won't happen, will happen, won't happen. That will happen, won't happen is an illusion. Is it not? Why is it an illusion? Because the transaction has not happened yet. That transaction for tomorrow has not happened yet. But what is the mind telling you? It will happen. And a few seconds later, it won't happen. And a few seconds later, it will happen. And a few seconds later, it won't happen. Are you understanding the science behind what I'm teaching you? So the job of the guru is to tell you, if your mind is in a flux, then that mind is your enemy. If your mind is in a flux, then that mind is your enemy. And in your natural state, beside Vasudeva, Ramanuj Das, I'm sure every one of you had enemies. Jayashree, you had any enemies in your life? You keep your enemies in your house. You give them nice food. You share your money and your clothes with your enemies. Your cosmetics, your lipsticks. Where you keep your enemy? Where, Jayashree? You interact with your enemy lovingly, or you abstain from your enemy. So if your mind is in a flux, this mind is your enemy. What you need to do with this mind? Stay away from the mind. Like how you stay away from all your associates. If this mind is messing you around, Jessica, what you tell your mind? I am not listening to you. What you tell your mind? You are misleading me. I am no longer listening to you. So whenever the thought comes in, what you must do? Reject it. Whenever that bad thought comes in, what you must do? Reject it. When that bad thought comes, what you must do? Reject it. And I'm saying this, 90% of you seated here, more than 90%. Your real problem is not your problem. Your real problem is your perceived problem. Your real problem is your perceived problem. That which has not occurred, that which is not occurring, your mind is telling you it is there. And you spend so much of time listening to your mind that you don't spend enough time fixing that problem. All of you understand? If you stop listening to the mind and start fixing the problem, all of you would have been in a different dimension today. All of you understand? All of you understand? So, these discourses are practical. These discourses are practical. What does practical mean? It is tangible. What does tangible mean? It can be done. It means if you go home and practice what the Guru is teaching you, the Guru graces you with power, and you take that power that the Guru graces you with and start making a small change. How many of you know what a protractor is? Besides Devashni, okay, 2, 3, right, 4. A protractor is a semicircular mathematical instrument, and it gives you 180 degrees on the horizontal. On the horizontal, from end to end, it gives you 180 degrees. So imagine a very small protractor, and if you make a 1 degree change tonight, when you go home tonight, you draw a line in your mind, and instead of being ebb and flow, yes, no, yes, no, Sugars is guilty, Sugars is not guilty, Sugars is guilty, Sugars is not guilty, Sugars is guilty, turn, blanket over the head, Sugars is not. No, Sugars is guilty. Because it's in a straight line. It's in a straight line. Who did physics? Physics? Angle of incidence is equal to angle of deflection, isn't? Action, reaction, action, reaction, action, reaction. Are you going anywhere? But now if you turn that horizontal and you just make a 1 degree change, the Guru does not want big changes. Guru wants only 1 degree changes. So if you take your protractor and mark 1 degree from the center point, it will be a very, very small change, isn't it? And every satsang that you come, if it's a 2 centimeter line from the horizontal, 2 centimeter line from the horizontal, the first point you won't be able to make out anything, isn't it? But if you come for 30 or 40 satsangs, times that 2 centimeter exactly straight satisfy, how much that changes? That 1 degree change, if you have to plot it on a graph. You see the gap continues to widen. The gap continues to widen because one line is horizontal, one line is 1 degree. And that 1 degree in time, proportion to time, continues to widen. There's no longer now yes, no, yes, no. So there's yes and maybe no. Yes and maybe no. And there's a difference between yes and maybe no, than yes, no, yes, no. All of you understand? So is there any reason to take any medication if you understand the mechanics of your mind? Because what is medical science doing when your mind is in a frenzy? What is medical science doing? They're suppressing the brain. Medical science cannot touch the mind, but they can suppress the brain. And when the brain is suppressed, then you're damaging your biological body. You you are damaging your biological body. The mind is simply a gaseous vapor. The mind is simply a gaseous vapor. It's like the touch screen of your phone. The touch screen of your phone. Beneath your phone, that part that you touch that reacts with the gross part inside the phone is like the brain. So the mind thinks and the brain acts. All motor reaction takes place by the brain. See, the mind thought, I must point at Vasan. Then the brain engaged my body through my finger to point at Vasan. The mind is subtle, the brain is gross. Medical science has not found a cure for subtleties. They do not understand the subtlety of the mind. Medical science does not know where the mind really sits. They have not really defined the mind yet. So they give you medication to sleep the brain. They give you medication to sleep the brain. As long as the brain is sleeping, you are lying to yourself. You understand? Because what is the cause? Where is the cause? Is the cause in the brain or is the cause in the mind? But what are they treating? The brain. All of you understand? So you notice wherever there is a bona fide spiritual master or guru, no matter what is the material condition of that human being is always at peace. That human being is always at peace. Even if that human being is going to get hanged tomorrow. Even if that human being is going to get hanged tomorrow. Because he has conquered the mind. He has conquered the mind. This information is given in the most scientific handbook, the summary of the absolute science called the Bhagavad Gita. And I'm going to conclude with a verse from the Bhagavad Gita to summarize this discourse that I have now expounded to you. So we're in chapter 2 of the Sri Ramanuj Gita Bhashya, verse 63. Verse 63, and it reads as follows. This is Lord Sri Krishna giving his best friend Arjuna an understanding of the human life. And in this verse he states, verse 63, from anger there comes delusion, semicolon. From delusion, comma, the loss of memory, semicolon. From the loss of memory, comma, destruction of discrimination. What is discrimination? Judging right from wrong. The destruction of discrimination. And with the destruction of discrimination, he is lost. The Bhagavad Gita is only 700 verses. How many? 700 verses. And if this one verse is spoken by the Lord, then is this verse absolute or not absolute? Have you experienced what the Lord is saying? Have you experienced what the Lord is saying? From anger there comes delusion. From anger there comes delusion. What delusion means? You making things up. You are so angry. Somebody in this room, I don't want to mention any names, that person might not come back to satsang, sugars. Alright? You are so angry that you become Steven Spielberg. Anyone heard of Steven Spielberg? And in India, Karan Johar. You all heard of Karan Johar and Steven Spielberg. What does these two people do? Make movies. Make movies. Have you made many movies in your life through anger? And movies are not real. But have you been a victim of certain movies being made in your life? All of you understand? So when you get very, 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 very angry, then you lose reason. And when you lose reason, whatever appears in your mind becomes a reality. And when that anger has subsided after 1 week, that is by, I don't know how long.
I have to say too short.
Too short. Okay. And then you will realize that an entire movie has been made, and that movie, if it is given to the Oscars, in every aspect, all the awards will be won. Don't you think, Satish Bhai? There's even music in that movie. Okay, all of you understand? So in this satsang, the Guru will grace you. That's a given. Grace flows naturally from a Guru. Like the river Ganges flows naturally from the Himalayas. It's taken for granted. But in this natural flow, you have to make that 1 degree change. You have to make the 1 degree change. Unlike taking vows, there's nothing wrong there. Unlike taking vows, unlike performing rituals, again there's nothing wrong there. This system works you permanently. This system will give you a lasting solution. Whereas you take a vow, every year you have to take a vow and do something, and take a vow and do something. In this system, there's a permanent solution. But the change have to come, you have to make that effort. You understand? So in this system you become a human. You become a human. You live in the total capacity as a human supposed to live. And in humanity there must be no anger. There must only be peace. All of you understand? One more verse for the road, Krishbhai. Pishbhai, one more verse for the road. You heard of that saying before in your life? Sugars, I'm not asking you why you saying yes. I'm still talking to Krish. You know what happened on Sunday, Sugars? One more for the road story in this lockdown is banned. Okay, I think I'll leave it there. I think you had enough for today. So let's sum up, okay? When you come to a satsang, sat means truth, sangha means pious company. So you heard the truth and you was in a pious company, because whoever is here, you are pious, otherwise you would not be here. Pious means a dedication to the higher truth. You don't have to know the truth just yet, or the name of the truth today, but a dedication to the higher truth. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Rosh, any questions? Okay, I welcome you and your family to your first satsang. Alright? And if you continue attending satsang, you will continue getting this type of information. Alright? And this information is your birthright. Is your birthright. What birthright means? You are born in Sanatana Dharma, aren't you? This information is your inheritance. This information from the Vedas is your inheritance. Okay? The Guru is not doing you a favor. You come, you take this information, all of you, and you use it to better your lifestyle. Okay? And believe me, don't try and make big changes. Roshba, don't try and make big changes. Make small changes. Because the small changes will have a permanent solution. Sometimes when you do too many things, then you go back to the horizontal. Alright, so go home today as a family. Many families are here. On your way, you are allowed to gossip. You're allowed to gossip. Positive gossip. What gossip? Positive gossip. Don't say, hey, this guru, he thinks he knows too much, man. What he knows about anger problem? You understand? Sugars? What does guru know about anger problem? How angry I can get? Sugars? Alright? Not that kind gossip. This kind gossip. Hey, this guru is right. I do have an anger problem. Thank God I attended this satsang. Now I know how to fix my own problem. Instead of saying, Sugars had an anger problem, I must say, I got an anger problem. And Sugars? Who got an anger problem? Each one of us got an anger problem. Each one of us. Before we fix the next person's problem, whose problem we must fix? Oh. Okay? So if you go home now, Rosh Bhai, say, hey, Guru is hundreds. I must fix my problem. Bhabhi, you fix your problem. The son and the daughter will fix our own problems. Then it's positive. Then you came to a satsang. Alright? But if you leave the satsang and talk negative of the satsang on your way back, then you wasted your time. Am I right or wrong? If you go for a maths lecture, then you was taught 1 + 1 = 2, When you jump in your car and you say, hey, what that lecturer knows, 1 plus 1 is equal to 3, then you wasted your time in that. Okay? So, once again, especially now in this trying times, the fact that you could leave your home in the cold and during COVID-19 and put God first, it pleases the Guru. Alright? And I said in a previous discourse that when the Guru is pleased, his Lani is pleased. Who's Lani? Who you think the Guru's Lani is? And when the Guru's Lani is pleased, then there is peace and pleasure all round. Okay? Alright. Somebody gonna light the